All right, I think I am live. I had to play around a little bit with the settings on my phone. This is the first time I've gone live as a scheduled live, and I'm just seeing if everything is in frame and checking. I'm not seeing myself live in YouTube itself. Let's just see if I can find something here. So I want to see if I see comments or not. But it says that I am live. So I'm hoping I am. Let me check over here. Sorry guys, this is my test run of my lives to see how they're going to work next week. So give me just a moment to see if I can see myself. Okay. All right, I can see it over here. So there we go. Finally showed up. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right. Welcome. I will look for comments, but again, my setup is, and I've got my volume up over here, so I need to get that down. Okay. All right. So we won't get any feedback. All right. So welcome back to Liz's Scrapping Studio and to my live. I had been trying to get this video filmed for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and I just couldn't find the time to do the filming and then do the editing, and I was just getting further and further behind. And I really wanted to get this last set of layouts done and shown to everybody. So with that, I'm actually going to turn on another light here, try and get rid of some of the glare that I have. Hopefully that will do a little bit better. I've got some shadows that I'm seeing on playback. So I decided I was just going to do a live. I was just going to go live, and you'll get me raw and unedited and completely unfiltered, stumbling over my words and such. So that's what you're going to get. So this is actually going to be two layouts, but they're going to be one-page layouts. And the reason is I couldn't figure out how to make the scraps that you see here on the left-hand side work together to create a two-page layout. And so what I decided I was going to do is just create a one-page layout, and then create a second page layout with the balance of the scraps. And I do have some pretty big scraps left, right? I've got this whole piece here. And then I had this cutout that I had done of the clouds that I wanted to try and use on a layout. And then I have a bunch of littler scraps, but still some of these are pretty significant in size. You know, these pieces are pretty big. I've got some zip strips, and then I've got a bunch of little things. And then I've got a bunch of the stickers that are also left over. So I wanted to try to use those up as well. So with that, that's going to be really the focus on this is to try to use up as many of these scraps as I can. And so I came up with these two-page layouts, or sorry, these two one-page layouts for this. All right, so I'm going to pull some of these things aside that I know that I'm using. So there are going to be a few things that are going to be left over when we're done. I've got some again of the stickers here that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to pull those aside and kind of organize this a little bit before we get going. And I believe that these are the pieces that will be left at the end of this video. This is all that we will have left. And obviously, if you're a card maker, there are some great pieces here to use to make cards with. I don't make a lot of cards, so I don't know that I will actually use these. I may just end up getting rid of them, but we're going to just set those off to the side. Okay. So the first layout we're going to use, we're actually going to put it on a black background. And this black piece is been gutted. It was a piece I had in my stash that I pulled out, and I thought, oh wait, this might be perfect. And it turned out it did. It worked out perfectly for this gutted piece of cloud cardstock. And then I had this piece that was a full 12 by 12. Now, I probably could have made a 2-page layout with this piece, just cutting it in half and then bridging across. But the problem was is I wasn't really going to be able to use this paper easily because of its size and the way it was, or at least I didn't think so, bridging 2 pieces of a 2-page layout. And so I just decided that I was going to make a 1-page layout using this particular, and I'm going to just shift this stuff over, and use this particular piece as the focal point on this black background. And I really liked how this black really makes this lagoon, and actually I think this is mostly the Glaicer color, but it just makes this sort of pop off the page. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and adhere this down to this base page, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some adhesive around the sides. Now I know this paper is now gone. It is retired, and I believe the sticker sheet is still available when I looked this afternoon, that you could still get the sticker sheet, but the paper itself is gone now, which hopefully some of you were able to pick up. All right, so I'm just trying to use my Versamat to get this somewhat even on this. This looks a little crooked. Let me just double check that I got that down correctly. And again, you know what? I'm gonna just put a little bit of adhesive at the top here to anchor my black piece so it doesn't shift quite so much. All right. And so we're gonna take this, and I'm trying to get it at as best I can lined up here. All right, that looks pretty good. A little bit crooked still. Okay. All right, so now I've got that piece down. So the next piece I'm going to use, I could use the stripes, but again, I really actually just liked the words, and they were going the right direction. They weren't upside down. And so I just like the idea of having the words down here at the bottom. So I am going to go ahead and put some adhesive on this, but I'm going to leave this top part, I'm going to do the adhesive a little bit lower, because I'm going to stick some things behind it. And I am going to lay this flush with the bottom of this black cardstock. So I'm not bringing it up higher. I am trying to come right down to the bottom of this black cardstock, which is a little bit hard to see on the black Versamat, but hopefully I get that somewhat lined up here. And we'll get that there. Okay, so now I've got this piece down. So the next thing I'm going to bring in is I'm going to bring in my photo mats. Now my photo mats, I'm actually going to do 3 4x4 photos with this. And my thought is that I'm going to sort of put them, I'm going to put 2 here, kind of like this. And then I'm going to put a 3rd one down here in the middle, creating, again, a visual triangle with these photos. And then I'm going to bring in some of my pieces of stickers that are left. And so I had a number of stickers that were left that I thought I could use on this layout. So the first one that I thought that might work really well is this lovely. But it's sort of floating out there, and so I had another little sticker here that I thought that I could anchor this down, and that kind of gave me a little bit of a starting point again to create a visual triangle with the embellishments. So then the next sticker that I thought I could use was this one with the snail. And this is a honey butter color that matches my honey butter photo mat here. So I thought that would work. And then my last one was thinking that I might go ahead and use this butterfly one down here. Now this is in lemonade, and so it doesn't quite match the honey butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and bridge that with this blue. And so my thought was I could bring these two pieces together like this. And then that way it creates a bridge with that flower between the honey butter and the lemonade color. So that then started the process of, okay, so now I think I've got those laid out. And then I have this sticker that I thought I would want to use. And I thought that would be nice to bring some visual interest to the top of the page. And then I cut one of the smaller pieces of scrap, and I thought I could add that here, just again for balance, so that it has a little bit of a cluster here. And then the last thing that I needed to do was put a title, and I had this huge space right here for a title. And so I wanted to put something across there, but I'm pretty happy with this layout. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get this adhered down, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do the rest of the embellishments. So I'm not going to pop these pictures up. I did pop up all of these embellishments so that that has the dimension happening there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in, and again, I don't want to go down too far, but I do want this photo to slide underneath, and because I didn't put adhesive there, I'll be able to slide my photo in when I get my photos ready. All right, so same thing here. Just going to lift that up, and again bring this in so that those embellishments are also in relation to this particular picture. And again, I'm trying to get this semi-even here, like that. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick this embellishment down here. And actually, I think I'm going to move that over just a little bit. Again, by touching the embellishments to each other and to the pictures, you create a grounding and a relationship so they don't feel like they're floating out there in the middle. Now this photo, I actually think I am going to pop up. I wasn't originally going to do that, but I do think I'm going to end up popping this one up. And the reason being is I think it needs a little bit more, maybe not emphasis, but a little bit more depth against the words versus the photos up here on the clouds. I didn't think like they needed to have some more depth to them, but this one, now that I'm looking at it again, I think would benefit from being popped up. So I'm just using my 3D foam tape, and I am trying to center this using my Versamat and using the marks at the bottom here, the 6. I'm just trying to eyeball sort of the middle of this photo here. And then we're going to go ahead and put this embellishment down. And I'm going to fill in with some more embellishments here. So I'm going to just separate that a little bit and give it a little bit of space. And then the same thing with this one. I'm going to put this one down, but I'm going to put it down on that photo mat, but this one I'm going to leave flat. So this was a sticker that I de-stickered, and I'm just putting more adhesive on that now. And that is a great place to put like a date or something on this little one. This one would be a great place. And then I have got a space here that I can use for journaling. I can put a journaling block there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put these guys down as well. And again, this was a sticker that I de-stickered, but I'm going to go ahead, obviously, and add that adhesive back on. And then we'll put some adhesive on this one. And we've sort of got our base now for this layout. All right. So these other stickers we're going to use in a on the next layout, so we'll be able to use those up. But now we're set where we can add in our title. And our title, I actually had, and I think I might have used this on another one of these layouts. I had some of these black alphabet die cuts still, and I was able to create a word or a set of words out of what I had left in there. So I was really excited about that. And what I decided to do is I decided to write "Beautiful Day," and it actually fit really well in this space that I had. So to use, not usually using the use. So that was good. Let's see, this D, I think it goes like that. Beauty. Just trying to get them all out. I tried to keep everything in this little container so that they were all goes like that, I think. Okay, so B-E-A, beautiful. Let me just double check how that's spelling, because I am known for not spelling things correctly, and that is correct. There we go. I thought I had it wrong. B-E-A-U-T-I-F-L-F-U-L-D-A-Y. And I just thought, you know, the black brings in the black from the base page here, and it really just adds a nice little contrast to that bright color. So anytime you bring black in with the bright colors, it really does help ground it. So now it's a matter of laying it out so that it's set up equidistant and looks good. So I'm going to just start placing these down, and I'm going to start at the place where I want to end first, and the place I want to begin, and then I'll fill in from there. And then that way, and I could probably bring my ruler here and make sure that I am lined up at the 1 inch mark. So that I have a fairly straight line here. I'm going to bring this guy down just a hair. Okay, so if I do that, if I line this up at 1 inch, just like that, yep, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to leave that ruler there, and we're going to go ahead and fill in now that we've got our start and our end ones laid down. Now you can go from the middle out as well. So that's also an option, depending on how precise you want to be on the spacing of your lettering. I'm not that worried about it. So I'm just doing an eyeball, which is how I tend to do lots of my layouts. And so it's just a matter of taking a look at it, deciding if that's where you want it to be, where you want the letter to be. And then as long as you're not pushing down too hard, you can lift these guys up, right? It is possible to lift these up. Now, tweezers might be helpful for somebody here as well, depending on how you're handling, you know, how you want to handle some of these smaller letters. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just twisting my body around till I can get the position I want to put the letters on. Now these are looking like they're a little bit high compared to the B. So I think I need to pull these down a little bit. So I was using the ruler to try to, I think maybe the B needs to come up a little bit more. Okay. There. Like I said, as long as you're not pushing it down too hard, the Tombow will let you fiddle around with it just a little bit. Again, you don't want to push too hard at this point because you're not, you might need to do some adjustment just like I'm doing. And again, if it's not completely uniform, well, I think most people are going to be okay with it. They're not going to know that you didn't quite get the letters spaced exactly perfectly. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I might have a little bit too much of a gap here, but we'll see. We'll see if it has too much of a gap or not. And one more. So I think we're going to move the Y in just a hair, which I think is also fine. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to move things just a hair in. I think we're just a little bit too far spaced apart. So I apologize having to go through and look at this again, but oops. That's why I didn't press down too hard, like I said. You want to give yourself options. Or the ability to rework something. All right. So this is the last collection from Close to My Heart that I'm probably going to be able to work with live. We are going to be getting in the new collections on May 1st through Stampin' Up, but chances of me being able to get those and at the same time that you guys have access to them, we all get access to them at the same time. And the problem is that they'll probably sell out before I will get a chance to create with them live. And so I'm thinking this might be my last full Close to My Heart collection that I create with. So a little bit bittersweet there. All right, so we've got our title on now. And so the other embellishments that I ran across that I had in my stash were the black acrylic flowers and the black acrylic hearts. And so I pulled out some of those to add to this as well. And so what I was hoping is that this would again bring in that black element into the layout, and then also create sort of that bridge between these different embellishment clusters. So that was my hope with these guys. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is create that visual triangle. And so that was my next layer. So I took my bigger pieces first. Those stickers were a little bit bigger. I took those bigger pieces first. Then I am taking the next level down of size of embellishments to layer on, and then so that's what I'm considering these guys to be, is my next size down, even though they're probably not size wise exactly smaller than the stickers in some cases, but I really felt like, you know, they're more open or they're a smaller size. And so that was my thought process here. And and then laying those down. And then we're going to have one more level of embellishments that I'm going to create here. Again, I'm trying to get these guys to touch each other, because when you have them touching, then they have a relationship to each other. They don't feel like they're floating on the layout. And again, I'm trying to repeat the flowers. I'm trying to repeat the hearts, so that, again, there is consistency and cohesiveness throughout the layout, and where we have the where we're using, you know, these pieces. All right, I think I just ran out of glue dots. Hold on. Have to get out a new box of glue dots. Okay, I'm gonna I put that one down, but I need to do another glue dot on this. These are actually micro glue dots, so they actually work a little bit better on this piece. All right, so again, trying to decide the best orientation for this guy. Okay, I think like that. And then we'll grab some of these guys. All right, just seeing if anybody is leaving messages here as I try to get the glue dots on this. If you have questions, just ask me. I'll try and, like I said, keep track of any questions that are there. Okay, so that is the next level of embellishments. So the third level of embellishments, I've actually got orange yellow dots, and when I pulled these out, I thought they would be a nice little addition to this layout as well. So in this case, what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that I'm going to use the lighter one. I think I'm going to use this one here. So I'm just going to use my pokey tool and try and grab that. And grab the second one here. Place that there. Then I might go ahead and add a third one right there. Okay, and then down here, so I use the lighter ones up there just because I felt like it went well. I'm just wondering if they're going to fade into the background down here. Do we want to go with the darker ones? But I'm not liking the darker ones with the honey butter, so we're going to stick with the light ones. And in this case, we'll go ahead and pull over the hearts here. So we'll add, it's always hard to find where the right placement's going to be to make it look good. I think we're going to do there. And oops. And there. And then over here, maybe we'll use the combination of, I don't want to introduce stars because we already did hearts, so I don't want to introduce another shape. So I think we'll go ahead and oops, do that, and I might pull out another one here and add just one more circle to this guy on this side. Okay, so that is layout number 1 that I came up with the rest of those scraps that were from our previous layouts. So hopefully, looking at that, you've got a good idea. Bring that up so that you can kind of see what I've done. And I'm looking at the playback to see if it is actually showing me, because there is always a delay on these things. but hopefully you've got a good look at the details of this layout, and I'm pretty happy with it. And like I said, down here at the bottom is where I'm probably going to put some journaling strips. I'll probably grab again our journaling pieces here that we had, and I'll probably just add a number of those down here at the bottom. And again, like I said, date tag there, all of that's great. Okay, so that is the first layout. So we're going to move on to the second layout, and we did pretty good on time there. That was 30 minutes. That's not too bad for me. And like I said, I had these all kind of planned out, so I do have my pictures, and I do have my pieces all ready to go. All right, so this next layout, I was really wanting to use again some of these bigger pieces, and then I had the zip strips that were left. I tried to use these zip strips, but I just couldn't figure out how to work in the toffee on this easily without creating problems. So what I decided is that I was not going to worry about those zip strips, and I was going to just use these. And so what I have, what I decided is I was going to kind of do this random layout of these different pieces. And I really wanted to, again, I had these small pieces of cloud left that I wanted to try and use. And then I had these leftover pieces, and I'm missing one of my pieces here. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this one here. No, it's this one here. So I had these cloud square or rectangles that I really thought I could use. And so what I was trying to do here is just sort of reimagine or reuse some of these pieces that were left over, and kind of scatter them, do a scatter diagram of them. And this is what I came up with. And then I have a title that I created. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get these adhered down, and then we'll move on to kind of the rest of the placement. Now with this one, I did play with the white background quite a bit. I did some stamping on some paper, some just copy paper, to see if I wanted to do some stamping on the white background. And when I did that, I really didn't care for it. Didn't add anything to the layout, I guess, is kind of what I was trying to figure out. Was there something missing, and did I need to fill in some more of this white space? And the reality is that it didn't really help me fill in the white space. It just started looking a little too busy for my taste. So that's why I didn't end up doing any treatment to this background. At some point, maybe I might have thought about doing shimmer brushes, but that also didn't really, it didn't seem to work very well. Now this piece is actually going to hang off the end, and we're going to go ahead and cut this off here, but I'm going to just lightly lay it down for the moment. And then we're going to put this cloud piece here. I really did love this cloud paper. I tried to use it as much as I possibly could. And I really didn't want to waste it. So again, spent a bunch of time just trying to figure out the best way to make this work with all of these different cut pieces here. Okay, so this piece is the last piece. And again, I'm probably going to end up cutting this as well. So I think I'm going to lay that right there. All right, so now that I've got that down, and those are completely set, like I said, I actually took a couple of different things, and I am using the the stamp Your Smile, which is the Operation Smile stamp, and I'm using Smile and You Make Me as my title. But there were some things I thought might work. The cloud or the sun I thought might work. And so I just did some stamping, and I was just using copy paper, and I put these out just to see. And then I also had these splatters that I thought, well, maybe I could use these splatters or these suns. But then once I got my pictures on, so this is what I decided to use as my pictures, I didn't feel like when I put these down, and the splatter is kind of out of the way, I didn't feel like it actually helped the layout any. And it actually wasn't necessary. And so I thought, okay, well, so maybe it's the problem that these are icons, right? That these are shapes and icons. Maybe if I did the splatters, that would look better. And I didn't like that either. So, and I did them in multiple different colors, in the Jade and in the Lemonade. And, you know, I put them, and it just didn't feel right to me. So this is one way where you can practice without doing something directly to your paper, and see if you're going to like it. Because sometimes when you go directly to paper, you're either nervous about it or you're not sure if you're going to like it. So just get some copy paper and or printer paper and stamp it out, and then try it and see if you like it. And that will give you a much better idea of whether or not that's going to work for you. All right, so then I also did the same thing with the Smile, You Make Me Smile, because I wanted to, again, for placement purposes, I wanted to figure out where did that best go. And so the way that I had thought of this, and that looks like that's crooked. Is that crooked? No, maybe it's just me. I wanted to make sure that that title would work. But then again, when I looked at it, we had white on white, and that didn't look very good to me. So I went ahead and I cut myself a piece of Lemonade, and I thought, okay, well, maybe Lemonade needs to be the color that it was on. And it was okay. I didn't mind it. That's the light side of Lemonade. When I flipped it over to the dark side of Lemonade, that was a little bit better. And then I decided, okay, well, let's look at Honey Butter. So there's the dark side of Honey Butter. And I didn't really like that. I like the dark side of Lemonade better. I flipped it over to the right side, or the light side of Honey Butter, and that I liked a lot better. I felt like that was the right transition. So then I stamped it on a piece of white cardstock, and I started to do my lines, and I messed them up. I could have flipped it over and restamped it, but I felt like the title size was, I cut it too small. So I decided I was going to come in, and I just did it again. It's only paper, okay? You are allowed to redo something and not worry about whether or not this is savable or not, okay? I give you permission to throw paper out. That's my tip of the day. Try it out. If you don't like it, rework it, throw away the excess, okay? That's okay. So this is stamped in Glaicer, Jade, and then I decided I was going to use the sun because this was feeling a little bit not enough. So I used the sun from Your Smile, and I did that in Lemonade. Then I took my black pen and I outlined it because, again, I wanted it to have a little bit more emphasis on this particular page. And then I backed it on the Honey Butter light side. So I'm really happy with that. And then my photos, again, as I said on the last layout, I really want you, when you're using a lot of bright colors, sometimes it's hard to get your eyes into the photos, and I'm not sure what color the photos are going to be when I actually put them on. So by putting that black, I'm creating contrast, and I'm allowing the eye to focus in on the photo when I get the photos on that. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I do want to pop up this title, so I'm going to grab my 3D foam tape, and we're going to go ahead and add the title first, because in this case I need that title placement before I put my photos down. Doesn't always need to be that way, you know, to the title placement, but I think on this one I really feel like the title placement was important as a starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and then we can put our photos down. And the reason why is I want to get some white space around it to separate it from the zip strip at the top. All right, so then, let me see if I've got any more thick 3D foam tape. As all of you, I am running low on my supplies. I did not get enough 3D foam tape before they sold out. So we're going to use thin 3D foam tape for this, since I've used up all the thick. And get that on these pictures. All right. So the next step will be the embellishments on this, and there's not going to be too many embellishments. So because I've got like these pieces that are separated from each other, I do want to not leave gaps. So when I'm placing my photos, I want to make sure that I'm at least coming to the edge so it looks like that piece is connected to the photo. And I think I'm going to come up just a hair more here, like that. Okay. And then on this one, same thing. I want to make sure that I am bridging this piece and not leaving it floating out there on its own. So again, creating a relationship between these papers and these photos. And that looks good. All right, and then we'll get, don't really like the thin 3D foam tape. It's too thin for me, but we will make it work. All right, so this is the last one. And then we can add a little bit more embellishments to this. Now there's not going to be too much because there is a lot going on in this layout in my opinion. And so I'm just centering this last photo underneath this one. And again, I've got 3. Odd numbers are pleasing to the eye. Okay, so just know that. Odd numbers are very pleasing to the eye. All right, so this is going to be, again, this is just a scrap that I have. And I had this Garden Fresh sticker. And I liked that going with this. But again, I felt like we might get a bigger scrap here. I was thinking I wanted the thinner scrap, but I think I might do the thicker scrap. So I thought that that would look nice. And then I thought that if we did that, and again, if I put it up here a little bit higher, then I could add in the watering can and create a little cluster right here, right? I can, again, the idea is you want to cluster your embellishments together. And so that was my thought. So we'll go ahead and put this down and consider this part of our embellishment cluster. And then we'll add this in. And again, there's space for me to slide that photo underneath. And then I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to bring that in like that. So then the other pieces that I had in my stash are these springtime flower sequins. Now these are old, so these have been in my stash for a long time, but the colors work. You know, I can use the flowers that are, I don't even know what colors these were, but I can definitely use the pink and the yellow and the teal color here. And so I thought that this would be a nice add to this particular one, especially because we've got the gnomes sitting there. And we've got the pink and we've got the teal color with the glacier, and then we've got the yellow with the lemonade. So again, I'm just grabbing a couple of these and we're going to add them. Let's do another pink down here. All right, and then I want to do a cluster up here as well at the title. Again, I'm trying to create a triangle, and I might not quite get there with this particular one, but that's my thought. Okay, don't want the yellow directly on that, so let's grab the teal here. That, and then we're going to go on the other side of the title as well. Actually, let's move this guy over. Oops, I think I lost the adhesive piece on that. Okay, we're going to grab a dot for this one. Like I said, these are older embellishments, so the adhesive is not necessarily as sticky as some of the newer ones. And we're going to grab a yellow one just to finish that out. And really, that's it for this layout. So again, it's fairly straightforward as far as the layout. It does have a little bit of space for journaling down at the bottom. If you want to add some journaling strips down there, but I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and cut these guys off as my final step on this layout. And then we're just going to take a look at all the layouts that I've created using the gnomes for spring. All right. So again, I'll probably put some journaling strips down here at the bottom. You could also do a flip flap if you have flip flaps on top of this photo. That would be another great place to add some more pictures to this, but also add journaling. That is actually probably what I will end up doing, is using one of my flip flaps for that. Okay, so just to recap what we have left from a scraps perspective. Okay, what I have left is one sticker, bless your heart, because that I couldn't find a good use for that phrase or for that on that. And then I've got these pieces of paper. Okay, that's what I have left. So pretty happy with that. And I will probably toss this piece here. Just not even going to worry about it. Okay, so this is the layout that we just created. So that's one page layout that we did. This is the second page layout that we did. So this is again just another one page layout from the gnomes for spring. So I'm going to bring out the other layouts that I have created. And those are YouTube videos that you can look up. Whoops, sorry. Things are falling over. Okay, so this was a layout that we created here. I think that's the right direction. And let me make sure that that you can see all of that. So that's a 2-page layout. And again, this was a pretty basic layout. We did do some inking around the edges of that white daisy. to make it stand out and to give it a little bit of depth. We used a lot of stickers on this one. So these were stickers here. We used dots as well on this. So this one's a little bit more sticker heavy than some of the other ones. All right, so the next layout, I think this one, the reason I don't have it in anything yet is we didn't get a title on it, so I need to come up with a title. So if anyone has any great titles, let me know in the comments below. I always struggle with titles, so I always love to get ideas of what people think good titles will be. This was the previous layout that I did with on my YouTube channel. So this was the one that I finished recently. This is using that fractured, well, not fractured. It's the camera idea that's the shutter, the shutter opening and closing, where we were using the die cut strips that were part of the Cardstock Carnival. And then I also have the little girl gnome here sitting there with the frog. And then I've got some inking, some blending there. I did some die cuts of butterflies on patterned paper on this one. And then on this side, again, using colored cardstock and patterned paper to die cut so that I didn't have to color, using stickers, and then this fractured or this shutter style that you're seeing around everywhere, and just using that, and then doing again some black pen outlining to bring some focus into that green square. So that was a lot of fun. I had fun doing that. And this was cutting up a bunch of the paper. One of the comments that was on this one was, did I have to cut the paper? I didn't have to. I could have used that whole piece of 12 by 12 paper and just laid the square at a diamond on an angle and added the pieces. But I actually wanted the paper to have more movement than if it was just a 12 by 12. So that's why I cut it up the way I did on that particular video. All right. So the next one is, and I do have these in bags already just to keep them safe and clean. This was the first one that I did, and this was another one-page layout. So I did 3 one-page layouts, which is unusual for me, but just happened to work out that way. This one, I took the paper and I cut out the words because they had this flow, this circular flow to them. I cut it out and I use that as my base. I've got paper tearing here. You can see the circle that I used. I used a paper plate to draw these lines behind it to, again, add a place for these embellishments to land. And then I did a bunch of die cutting of the embellishments on colored cardstock or on patterned paper, and was able then to create this this circular piece. And then these letters are irresistible letters, were our irresistible letters, and then the time again was that black die cut that I just showed you a minute ago. Again, really like this one. And then I do have the addition of a tag up here that can slide in and out so that you have a place to do some journaling. So that was an additional piece, and I ended up having to add a piece of white daisy at the back in order to make this tag work. So this was gutted. This paper was gutted out. That's where we got this piece from. So this is the back side of this. I gutted that out so that I could use it on something else, and obviously did. But the problem was this tag didn't have any place to go. It was going to not be able to stay there, so I went ahead and just created a white daisy back on that. So again, that's how I used up that piece. And then I've got one more layout after this one. So this was a layout that I created again with using strips of paper, using zip strips, and This also has a tag pullout behind that piece, so you can put a photo there and you can put journaling. So it's got both photo and journaling spots, and I used a sticker to create that. Then I've got these blocks for the photos. I've got stickers, and then again some more of those black acrylic flowers. And then again, most of this is paper layering. There is a little Glaicer sitting behind this welcome spring that I've sponged on there. And again, pretty basic, pretty, I like a lot of white. I'm more of a white space person, so you will see a lot of my layouts. I do have a lot of white space, but I do try to add interest and have it not just feel too plain or too white. All right, so this is the actual last layout that I have. And this one, again, is using a lot of stickers from that sticker sheet, but also using the die cuts from the Gnomes for Spring little girls. So the little girl, she had a bunch of these die cuts, the umbrella and these flowers, and so I used a lot of those here. This one, I've just taken a 1/4 inch strip and I've created sort of this frame. I've done sponging again in certain spaces here to reduce the amount of white space. I've sponged on these Glaicer and flamingo pieces. I've popped up the title here, and again I'm using those black acrylic flowers. So I got a lot of use out of those black acrylic flowers. Again, same idea. I've got a cluster up here, I've got a cluster down here, and then I've got the frame. So so a few techniques here and there scattered throughout with these particular layouts. So again, layout number 1, layout number 2. I don't know the exact order of which ones I created first versus which ones I created second, but that's what we have here. Layout number 2. Layout number 3 is this one. So these are all the double page layouts that I created. So I got 3 double page layouts, so 6 total, right? And then, no, 7, 6, 8 total. So here's the 4th double page layout. Actually, I think it goes like this. Sorry, pretty sure it goes like this. So this is the 4th double page layout. And then I got 3 single page layouts. So that is a total of, just making sure I didn't do my math wrong here, 2, 4, 6, 8. So I get 8, 9, 10, 11 pages out of this. 4 double page, 3 single page, right? And then the 2 that we just created today to finish off that paper pack. So if there's one that you like, let me know in the comments below. So one in particular that you liked better than another. And hopefully throughout this series, again, you got a chance to learn a couple of techniques or understand maybe why you might want to group things together in 3s, or why you might want to add some color here or there to make a layout be work a little bit better than you might have known in the past. So that is it for us for today. I really hope you enjoyed these layouts, like I said. And I do have some lives coming up that I will go ahead and promote right now. I'll have a live next Wednesday on the 1st. I'm going to go through the new Stampin' Up! Catalog and my welcome kit, so I'm going to talk through that. And I'm also going to talk through my lives that I am having on Saturday the 4th, which are for National Scrapbooking Day. And I'm going to do 4 lives on National Scrapbooking Day using the items that I got in my starter kit from Stampin' Up! As I transition over on May 1st. So a little bittersweet for me that this is kind of the last time I will be officially working with Close to My Heart and officially being part of Close to My Heart. And when I come back, the next time you see me next week, I will be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and fully using their products, as well as some of the Close to My Heart products that we still have in stock. I'm going to be using cardstock and things like that still for a little while. So, all right, I think that's it for today. I've rambled long enough. Hope you enjoyed these layouts, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.